Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to cover the Planet of the Vapes Lobo, and I picked this one up for $119 as a open box deal. If you look on Planet of the Vapes, sometimes you can find a good deal on the open box items. I've also seen this for sale from To the Cloud Vapor Store as a used model, not an open box. Tyler over there does sell vapes that are used, and you can actually trade your vapes in. So that's a good site to check out too. I use it quite often. But overall, this was a vape when I bought it. My intentions were to use it as a budget option in this walk and talk series where we're covering these portable devices just to give someone an option. And honestly, I've come to really like this one. My intentions originally were to give this one away when I'm done with it. I'm kind of wrestling with that now because I do use this one a lot. It's one of the more likely grabs I'll take when I'm on the go. And I'll explain why. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn it on, take a few puffs. 3 clicks of the Lobo button, and it fires up, and it's going to start heating up. Heats up relatively quickly. We're going to take our first few puffs off of this, and then we'll go over it. Make sure we don't lose the dog today. He's dragging his feet. Come on, bud. Spoke too soon when I said it heated up fast. There's some vapes that I've tested more recently that heat up so crazy fast. It feels like you're waiting forever on some things. Heats up fast enough, let's say. I would say it feels like about 40 seconds. It isn't terribly long, but you get a little spoiled with like the Tiny Mite 2, the Frolic, and the Tafe Bowl Series 2. And even the Venti feels faster. So let's try our first rip. And you might get an idea why I like this. Nice cloud on the first rip. That is something that you don't always get with vapes, is good vapor production on the first rip. The Lobo is one of them that definitely can do that. The Solo 3 is another one that's pretty good for that. But yeah, this one definitely rips on the first rip. We're going to take another hit. So yeah, this thing rips. I did a side-by-side test. I lost it when I got deleted on Instagram. But this thing actually beat the Frolic on water. If you're wondering how hard it hits literally that hard. Probably got one more rip in it. Then I don't load it. I just kind of smack it. It cleans out pretty easy. I usually blow through here to knock whatever's on that screen out. I think that makes quite a big difference with the Lobo or any of these vapes that are bowl style loads. I'll usually shake them out and then blow through the mouthpiece to knock the screen loose. Had pretty good success with this. So let's now get into the vape. So the Lobo is a magnetic connection. It slides in on these grooves, but you can actually see it will suck itself right on. So it's a magnetic connection, so it's super simple. To clean it, soak that, soak this, rinse it, and done. Among the easiest vapes to clean, this one. Inside here, I usually turn it on to about 150 lower temp, and then I swab it with a little ISO, and it comes out nice and clean. So maintenance on the Lobo is super simple. It's really hard to beat that way. It might be one of the easiest vapes to keep clean. And then it still has that kind of stores and bickle bowl that makes loading on the go really easy. And the stem isn't terribly long, so it actually works well in the pocket. You're not going to have to worry about breaks or anything like that. Very pocketable. It's nice and small. Size-wise, it's in the same range as the Pax Flow, the VZ, the Firewood Fat X. It's on the smaller side of things. I get about 8 bowls out of a charge on one 18650 battery, and right in here, if you remove this door, you'll see that you can replace this battery, which is nice. I mean, really carry one spare, and you'll probably be set for the day. Otherwise, 8 batteries should get you through a walk, which is how I use it mostly. Now, as far as what I don't like about the Lobo, and I think this is probably the big one, if you're going to buy one that I would take note of, is that it is not the greatest tasting vape. It doesn't taste terrible, but it's not great tasting. I think you can kind of taste the metal in it from the heater. But it's not terrible. I've tasted much worse vapes than this. It's just not top tier vapor flavor if you're coming from a higher end device. A lot of the lower end ones taste very similar to this. I would say the VZ even tastes pretty similar to this. So the flavor, it's not a flavor chaser. The other thing that I think some people probably won't like about it is it's very harsh. The stem does not do a good job, as you can see how small it is. It just doesn't do a great job of cooling the vapor down, which is kind of problematic for a lot of people. So this has been kind of the vape I've recommended to combustors a lot if they're coming over. And the reason for the recommendation is this thing hits hard and it's kind of harsh. So it's very familiar if you're coming from combustion. If you've been using other vapes and they're not quite scratching that itch, give this guy a try. It probably will. So you can kind of take that negative as a positive. It's probably the reason I like it is I came from combustion. I still to this day prefer my vapor to have a little what I'd call bite to it. A little bit of pain in the throat. It makes me feel like I'm getting something. Lobo scratches that itch. Problem is you have enough vapes, you can kind of get that out of some of the other ones and they taste better. So, but for the price, you're not going to beat the price on this and the vapor production. Not that I've seen yet. It's a hard one to beat. So now let's get into some of the things I do like about it. I like the size. It's very pocketable. I think it actually looks pretty decent. Other than this button stick section here, I'm not a big fan of silicone. Kind of cheesy looking, but the body of it looks pretty decent. The colors actually look pretty good. It's very similar to the color that's on the Solo 3. It's nice and shiny. I'm not nice to this vape, so I would say that the paint's held up pretty well, and with tradition, we'll just give that a toss. See, we got 2 pieces here. So you might notice I have a different dog. When I went to go look for this, my other one ran back to the car, so took him home and grabbed him, and then we came back and had to find a cooling unit. It took about 10 minutes. Just referenced the GoPro and found it, so kind of may have lost where I was at the time. So the Lobo, the things I don't like, and I think that are kind of a problem for people, are going to be the fact that it's a little harsh. With this short stem, it really doesn't provide a lot of vapor cooling, so it's best off to actually go out and buy a upgraded stem from Planet of the Vapes. They have a little longer one that does a pretty good job of cooling. That's what I would recommend buying. At that point, the vapor's still kind of harsh, but more bearable than it would be with the stock stem. That's the one downfall. I wish they would come with a little better stem option. With this one, it kind of sucks. We're going to go ahead and power this thing back up. And like I said, 3 clicks. And I'm running it at 420, I believe. Once it's heated up, we'll take a couple rips. But overall, I really love this vape. I think it's great. For the price, I don't think you can find a better buy. If you're looking for something small and portable and you're into heavy hitters, this is the one I would pick up. You are going to sacrifice a little flavor, but you are going to be sacrificing power or effects. It really excels in those regards. Come on, Preston. And about halfway heated up right now. Now let's get into some comparisons. Between this and the Tiny Mite 2, this one gets better battery life. Does not taste as good. As far as vapor hit strength, I think this one is right there with the Tiny Mite 2. And I'll take a hit and prove it. Nice big cloud. It's like that every time. Now on water, it's one of the best devices. Kind of like the Tiny Mite 2 would be. It's another device that I really like on water. This and the Tiny Mite 2 are probably my two favorite. And the Frolic now. Probably my three favorite devices for taking some water hits. Another cloud. Kind of rolled behind me. Flavor, like I said, not great. The areas that excels is hit strength. Battery life's pretty solid for only a single 18650. Size, easy to load and clean. 2 downfalls, it's harsh. And the flavor is not top tier. It's not terrible, but it's not top tier. Those are the two major knocks on it. Airflow is somewhere in between. It's not like super open, but it's not the most restricted vape I've used. A little harsh. You see the ABV is pretty dark. One smack on the hand, usually good to go. Pretty cleared out. Give it a little blow in there. Blow it through the mouthpiece, pretty clean. And with the magnetic connection, it's very easy to put back together. This is one of the easiest loading vapes to walk with. And it's 3 clicks to power back off. And I was running it at 430. So some comparisons I would put out there is that the Tiny Mite 2 is the most obvious as far as hit strength, and the Solo 3, they feel the most similar. This one has more restriction than most of the newer bowl-style loading devices like the Frolic and the Venti. As far as competition and its price point, I know the Rogue 2 is really good. I've heard people like that one better, except for it doesn't have the extra or have the removable battery. It's an internal battery, so that's kind of a downfall. But I heard that the rounded edge is a little more comfortable in the pocket and that the flavor is a little better on that one. So take that for what you may. I haven't tried it. As far as small devices, I personally don't think it has a ton of competition. The Firewood Fat X would be the closest as far as everything goes, but it's considerably more expensive. I would say between the two, I prefer the Firewood Fat X. The Planet of the Vape's Lobo is going to excel in areas where that doesn't, where it's very intuitive to use. You don't have to modulate your breath to use this one where you would with Firewood Fat X. So there's a lot of advantages to it. So yeah, the vape I would compare this the closest to would be the Firewood Fat X. Other than the Firewood, it is way less intuitive to use and tastes better. If those are the two variables that you care the most about, if you're looking for a more intuitive device, I would probably choose the Lobo. It's a little more like the Stores and Bickles, where you load it, you hit it. There's no tricks to it. It just works. The Firewood Fat X takes a little breath modulation, learning the button controls. Anything past the presets takes a little memory and some practice. But those are the two small vapes that I like the most. I'm not a huge fan of the VZ. I think it's solid. I think there's better things out there. I like this better than the VZ. I would save my money and buy this over that. Where this starts becoming irrelevant is if you get into the point where you're buying Tiny Mite 2s and you're looking at that, or the Frolic. At that point, I don't give a lot of credence to the Planet of the Vapes Lobo, because you're in a completely different price point. You're not in the budget vapes anymore. They're meant to be a lot better. In the budget vapes, you're typically going to sacrifice something. And a lot of times that's either flavor or power. I tend to side with the power. The Solo 3, being that it's not the most portable device in the world, is probably the closest as far as hit strength and draw. This is a little more open. They're very similar with high airflow stem on the Solo 3. This is a lot smaller. I like this better than the Solo 3 as well. So overall, this might be a surprise, but this is one of them that I'm thinking about putting in my top 5 because the price to value is so good. And I think when I do my top 5, I'm going to put a couple categories so you can kind of see that, yeah, the performance wise, one vape might be worlds better than this one, but the price doesn't quite make sense in 2025 when at this price point, there's other things that, in my opinion, do it better. So my top 5 is going to be geared more towards performance heavily, but price will be factored into some degree. And then I'll have subcategories like best on water, best power, best flavor. And that's kind of how I plan on doing it because I think they're kind of all over the place. And then I'll probably do like a small portable one too. But that's about where we're at with the Lobo. I really like this device. If you buy one of these, I think you're going to be happy with it. If you're coming from combustion, I recommend checking this guy out. It's going to kind of scratch that itch. If you're into higher end dry herb vapes, probably give it a pass, unless you're looking for something that you aren't afraid to, wreck or lose. It's good for that sort of thing. But you are going to sacrifice some of those things that you get on, like, say, a Tiny Mite 2, a Taffy Bowl, or a Frolic. Unfortunately, but at, I think, $159 full price, you're going to have a hard time beating that and getting the type of power and effects you can off of this. I'm a big fan of it. I'd love to try a Rogue 2 to see if it's any better. But until next time, see you later. Bye.